Gemini, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I am offering a promotion for the month of May. So have a look at the description box below. It's a good time to get a reading if you've been thinking about it. All right, let's get started for Gemini. We're going to do a Celtic cross here and see what the current energy around Gemini is for the week ahead. Okay, Two of Cups in reverse, Gemini. So we don't know much yet because I've only pulled one card. But from what this shows me already is that there's something that either you and another person are not seeing eye to eye on. There may be some misunderstandings or a lack of understanding between you and someone else. Or I sometimes really see that the Two of Cups is we are having a hard time understanding ourselves. That when we sort of look at ourselves from a more emotional or sensitive perspective, we're not really able to understand ourselves. You may be asking yourself why about something, like, why am I doing this? Or why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way about something? And not knowing the answer. Or you may be in a situation with another person where you're like, why do I feel like I just can't make any headway with so-and-so? Why can't me and so-and-so see eye to eye about this anymore or at all? You know what I mean? So let's keep going. It's just one card, but an interesting one for your current energy. What's the obstacle here for Gemini in this situation? Ace of Rods. Okay, interesting. So the obstacle is here in the Ace of Rods, showing me that what could be creating some tension or the struggle in this dynamic is that it's almost like you want to go in a new direction and someone's not cooperating with that direction. Or you want to go in a new direction and you're not cooperating with yourself. It's very interesting. We'll know more, but because it's a general reading, for some of you, it may be a person that you're not able to sort of move in the same direction together, or you might feel that about yourself. Like sometimes this combination would make me feel like you're trying to understand yourself on a deeper level, to understand why you're not going for something that you really feel is a potential in your life, and trying to understand, well, why aren't I going for it? You know, why do I feel blank about that opportunity that's presenting itself? And fill in the blank, right? Why do I feel scared? Why do I feel limited? Why do I feel intimidated? Why do I feel, you could put anything in that sentence depending on how you really feel about something. And it's interesting because it's almost like if you're dealing with yourself, that this could really become a breakthrough. This could lead to a breakthrough for you to really see something about yourself that ends up allowing you to explore a new opportunity, a new potential. If it is with someone else, then it could lead to the next level of your relationship with this person, or it might show you that this relationship doesn't serve you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Very interesting, Gemini. Let's see here what's top of mind for Gemini when it comes to this situation. What's on the conscious mind? Ace of Swords. Yeah, a new way of looking at something. You're starting to realize the truth about something. When I see the Ace of Swords in this position, that really tells me that you're starting to see something real about either a relationship that is just out of balance or something within yourself that's out of balance, Gemini. And it's something that is coming to the surface because there is a new opportunity available to you. And so sometimes when we get new opportunities, we see how that reflects within ourselves, certain limits, certain ideas or perspectives or beliefs that may not allow us to pursue things because we don't think it's possible, or we don't think we can do it, or we're sort of doubting ourselves, Or in the case where this is about you and another person, you may be starting to see that other person in a different perspective. You may be starting to realize something about the other person that says to you, I don't know if this is going to like sort of expand moving forward, or if this is sort of stuck where it is right now, and that we can't move forward together on this new path. So very interesting for you, Gemini. Let's see here, what is driving all of this? What's at the root of all of this? Oh, the Three of Cups. Isn't that interesting? So, you may be in a spot right now where you don't really feel the same way about certain relationships, Gemini. You may be feeling like there's a group of people, or again, it could just be one person, but it almost feels like it could be a community of people, a group of people that you're just like, I don't know if I resonate with these folks anymore. I think maybe I need to do something else, or go somewhere else, or explore other things, because it almost feels like you're starting to not trust that these people have your back, or that they're the best folks for you to be around, because they may be part of your past narrative, and you're maybe trying to shift that narrative and having a hard time doing that with this person or these people, or it's hard for you to see yourself when you're with these people, because it almost shifts you into a different energy, and you're like, that's not the vibe anymore. This is so interesting. Let's see what the past influences are on this situation for you, Gemini. Thank you. Self-imposed restriction, Eight of Swords. So in the past, you may have felt a fear of consequence, or a self-imposed restriction when it comes to shifting out of something. You may have been too scared to do that. You may have thought, well, if I actually do that, if I pull away from these relationships, or I say what I really think about this, or if I'm really true to myself, then there's going to be consequences, and I don't want to face those consequences, so I'm going to stay stuck. And in the past, you may have chosen that. That may have been the choice you made in the past, that it's better to be stuck and surrounded by people than free and not stuck, but all alone. And it may have been a decision that you made thinking that the outcome would be, I'll be all alone, instead of thinking, no, that just means I'll attract new folks and new relationships, or I'll be able to see myself in a way that sets me free instead of makes me feel stuck. It's very interesting. The message here seems to be, allow yourself to take a leap of faith and do what resonates for you. And don't skip to the end of the book and predict the ending. See what happens, right? It's often the journey, not the destination, right? When we focus on the destination, this can happen because we start to focus on consequences and outcomes instead of the potential, because you don't know how it's going to go, right? That's the beauty of this, is that you're only predicting based on what you know so far. But what you know so far might not be applicable here. That might just be something that you hang on to because you've seen it happen a few times, right? And so you might be saying, well, from my experience, when I do the following happens. And I just think that there's a potential for something new here when I see these two aces. So it might not be what you think. And on the bottom of the deck, we see the Fool, which is sort of encouraging you to go for it, step out of the box and take a chance on something brand new without fearing the consequences so much. You know what I mean? It's interesting. You're sort of taking a leap of faith. Let's see what the upcoming energy is here. Knight of Rods. You're really being guided here to just go for it. The Knight of Rods is one of my favorites in a reading like this, because it's like, I'm going to take that Ace of Wands and I'm going to put it on my shoulder and I'm going to go and I'm going to see where this can really take me. Knights are always about movement. And so this is like you moving to the beat of your own drum without fear. You know what I mean? Moving to the beat of your own drum without fear of losing relationships or losing, just the idea of loss or risk, or, fear of consequence keeps coming through. And so it's sort of like trusting yourself. Seeing the Fool on the bottom of the deck with this Knight coming out makes me really feel like you've got to trust yourself. And you don't necessarily need to hang on to relationships that don't serve you anymore. And they may be holding you back, actually, Gemini. And seeing that Knight coming up in the future influences really makes me feel like you got to take that Ace of Wands and see where it could take you. And to move to the beat of your own drum without fear or this idea of thinking you're going to be all alone. Let's see how Gemini sees themselves right now. How does Gemini see themselves? 7 of Wands. So a lot of wands here. So I feel like right now you see yourself as like, I've got to stand up for myself. In whatever dynamic here, either between you and you or you and others, you're seeing yourself as a defender, that you need to defend yourself. You need to stand up for yourself. This could be sort of pulling on the idea that you might be feeling defensive or guarded around certain folks because you don't really trust them anymore. I feel like you might be excuse me, looking at certain relationships and being like, wow, these relationships are standing in my way. They're creating sort of a barrier between me and this new direction. These could be codependent relationships that are holding you back, where you're like, well, I can't do this because if I do this, then this person's going to feel like this, and then what, And it's kind of like, well, that's for them to figure out. And without being insensitive, I feel like you could be holding yourself back because of certain relationships. And that might not be serving you. Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So that tells me it's time to move in a direction of new beginnings, new potentials. You've got 3 aces showing up in your reading. So it's really a new day for you, Gemini. And it's a day that you're setting the tempo. You're moving to the beat of your tempo, not the tempo of other people, not the tempo of, for some reason, all of a sudden I heard the word siblings come into my mind. So it could be family, it could be friends, it could be siblings, it could be yourself that's sort of holding you back. It's interesting. Let's see how other people see you right now, Gemini. Page of Cups. I can't believe this reading, honestly. This is wild. So other people see you like you're on the cusp of a breakthrough. You are on the cusp of a breakthrough. People see you as really changing your life right now. And some people might not like it. And that's their problem. This is about you right now, Gemini, and you releasing yourself from a pattern that doesn't serve you with relationships, with fear, with not seeing things as a potential, with sort of not seeing your own potential and feeling a little bit like it's time to really stand up for yourself. You might be feeling a little defensive because sometimes when we go for a while without really doing what resonates for us, we can sort of become guarded and a little bit defensive. So we're a little bit, on edge when it comes to how we express ourselves with others. We, instead of just saying how we feel, we're like, and what are you going to do about it? Like, we sort of get a little bit edgy when we haven't really felt like we can just do what resonates for us. And then when we start to do it, it can kind of come out like defensive a little bit at first because you've been overly focused on how other people are going to see this. But I think when I see this, other people see you as creating some new dream, like that you're creating something based on an emotional and inspirational idea that you've had that's shifting so much in your life right now and creating so many opportunities for a new beginning. And I think other people are noticing that. Let's see what the hopes and fears are. Okay, interesting. Hopes and fears are that you're denying something to yourself. And I think there's a part of you that fears that you're right. When you think about the limits, there's a part of you that fears that you're right, but there's also a part of you that hopes that you're not wrong. Does that make sense? Like there's a part of you that's like, no, this is never going to work. I'll never be able to do it. And then there's a part of you that's like, well, let's see what happens. I trust that we got this with this Page of Wands. So it's almost like I'm sort of seeing like you've got the devil and an angel, one on each shoulder. And in one way, you're sort of feeling like, no, this isn't possible. Get your head together and just carry on. And yet there's another part of you that's sort of like whispering in the other ear, come on, let's just do this. Like, we feel inspired for a new beginning. Everyone else can sort of just, they can think what they want. It doesn't matter what they think. All that matters is what we think. And we have a great idea here. There's that Ace of Swords. This is a really good idea. It's like a light bulb. I feel like you're on the cusp of a breakthrough here, but you just got to get out of your own way. And for some of you, you've got to stop focusing so much on how other people are going to think about this or see you, or whether or not they'll stand by you or fight you on it. That's totally their problem. You just got to focus on this inspiration. It's almost like you're holding this flame in your hands, and you got to decide if you're going to extinguish it or let it burn and keep following that fire to see where it takes you. It's interesting. I think this is bringing up a lot of shadow stuff for you about how much you put an emphasis on what other people think versus what you feel for yourself. So this is a light bulb. This is a breakthrough moment for you, Gemini, and it feels like it's going to lead to a lot of new beginnings. Let's see what the potential outcome is here for Gemini. What's the potential? Oh, got two cards. One just fell on the floor. Oh my goodness. Look what fell on the floor. We got the Ten of Cups and Justice. Gemini, you're going to choose what's right for you, what's in balance for you. You're going to choose your emotional fulfillment. You've got such an interesting and very clear, specific reading right now, Gemini. It really feels like the potential outcome here for you is to choose what is really in balance and what's right for you, what's just, what feels like the truth for you. And I feel like we're working with the law of cause and effect here, because seeing the Ten of Cups says if you choose yourself and you choose what your tempo, what the beat of your drum is saying to you, you're ultimately going to feel very emotionally fulfilled and satisfied. And that feels like it's very long lasting. Like this is a pathway that leads you into something stable that continually feeds your soul. So by marching to the beat of the drum, your beat of the beat of your drum, you're really sort of allowing yourself the opportunity to feel fulfilled on a very almost feels like a permanent level, like in the sense of this choice resonates with you. And on the bottom of the deck, we see the Hierophant in reverse, which is a sign to me that you're going to break a pattern. You're going to stop something that feels like a convention or a tradition, maybe again with your family or in your current friend group. It's like you're going to do something that's out of the box, and it resonates for you. And it's a pathway that ends up leading you into a very fulfilling period where you're by choosing to go your own way, you end up with a lot of fulfillment because you chose yourself and you chose the path that resonates for you. It might not resonate for the people with you, the people around you, your friends, your family, whoever, but it resonates for you. And by choosing that, you end up opening yourself up to this new way of doing things, this new idea, and you're changing the whole situation here. You're changing almost the path that it almost feels like you're breaking a cycle. You're changing the path that you're walking on. You're breaking a cycle here by choosing what resonates for you and seeing yourself in something. Very interesting. Excuse me. Let's close this reading. What is the highest guidance here for Gemini? Highest guidance for Gemini. Look at that. Truth Be Told and Treasure Island, which really says the same thing as these two cards, the Ten of Cups and Justice, because to me this says by sort of following your truth, that nothing but the truth and the genuine, authentic truth about how you feel about something, nothing but that truth will lead you to this ultimate fulfillment, this treasure island where you feel fulfilled and satisfied and abundant and prosperous, and that like the whole opening of all these opportunities and potentials. This is fascinating reading. You gotta go your own way here. I got that song in my head. How does that go? Anyway. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to leave it at that. What a very interesting reading for you this week. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Just out of curiosity here. Interesting. We see serendipity. So there's so much luck coming your way if you choose to walk and march to the beat of your own drum. So interesting. Okay, really going to leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, Gemini. I'm sending you so much love, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. You got this. Take care.